Murray's time in the sunshine of centre court once again.
He's got it! The Tigers have won by a point!
Hello and welcome to the final score, where if it's happened over the past week in the sporting world, we are going to be talking about it here for upstart.net.au at La Trobe University. Val Febo here with you as your host, and Joel Frucci, one of my co-hosts on Breakpoint Podcast, is here as well. Joel, how you going, mate?
Very well, Val. How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic. And what was your sporting moment of the week last week?
Well, mine was Tim Cahill playing his first competitive club match in Australia for 19 years. First one, obviously, with Melbourne City now, since 1997 with Sydney Olympic.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great to have him back and already having an effect because Perry Park up in Brisbane, small capacity, but it was packed to the rafters.
Oh, just to see him, really, yeah. He's a legend of Australian sport and will go down as one of the greatest Socceroos in history.
I love how they had the Fox Sports ran the highlights package. He came on for 25 minutes at the end, and the highlights package of his first game in Melbourne is him trying to put a cross in but missing the ball and tripping over his own feet.
That's all right. It's
What
Tim
a
Cahill.
highlight reel.
He can do no wrong.
Well, it depends on how you look at things.
And Rudy Edsel, you're here as well, mate. Greenfield Post writer, Triple M as well, social media worker there. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
That's good. And what was your moment of the week?
For me, it was James Faulkner. He's one of my very favourite cricketers.
Yeah.
An elite all-rounder. He took a hat-trick he took a hat-trick in the second one-dayer against Sri Lanka the other night, but he didn't actually know. So he'd taken the first hat-trick at the end of one over and then came back and took a wicket with the first two balls of the next over. And he was standing at the top of his mark thinking he was about to run into to have a crack at the hat-trick, and the umpire turned to him and said, you know you just took a hat-trick, right? And he's like, oh, did I? Grouse.
There we go. Yeah, he's a good bowler, and I reckon he deserves another go at Test cricket soon enough.
I think he'll be a long-term all-rounder for Australia.
Yeah, I hope
definitely.
so. And I love Faulkner. And Morgan Harding is also here, one of the co-hosts of the 8 podcast, also here at La Trobe University, and also writer for the Greenfield Post. Am I right?
No,
No.
I
thought
wrote
you-
for hashtag basketball.
Oh, hashtag bus.
I did do a few for
Yeah.
Greenfield.
Well, I saw some of those, so I just put that in there. But how you going?
Good.
Thank
good,
you for
very
coming
well.
on the show today. It's
problem.
great to
Happy
have you
be
here. And what was your moment of the week? I know you're a St Kilda fan, so I think I know what you're going to say
Yeah,
here.
you can probably guess. Nick Rewalt's last home and away game: 26 disposals, 21 marks, 9 goals.
He
So-
was supreme.
Dominant. His mark total is up to 222 now. And to put that into perspective, Doherty is second on 173.
Wow.
So he's taken 50 more marks than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just back up on that particular stat? He took 21 marks yesterday. 21
In a game, 11 in one quarter.
Yeah.
11. Yeah, 11 in the second quarter. 3 goals.
He took as many marks inside 50 as Brisbane did.
Does anyone, just for a touch of trivia here, does anyone know who the last St Kilda player to take that many marks was?
The G train.
No.
Oh, damn it.
That was a good guess, though.
Rex Hunt,
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
1976.
That's unbelievable. There you go. I would have loved it to have been Fraser Garrick. I loved him.
He's great.
Yeah. Josh Campbell also here. I love looking at your eyes, mates. And
thanks, Val.
we're starting it up early. But co-host on Breakpoint Podcast, love looking at you, mate. What was your moment of the week?
My highlight of this week, we'll go to a sport probably don't mention too much, golf, and we'll talk about Australia's probably our best golfer, just on a hunch, Jason Day, getting a 71-foot putt. Funnily enough, he hit it facing about 20 metres in the wrong direction.
Far out.
It was on a upper stage of a green that had been tiered, and it was one of the most phenomenal putts I think I've ever seen.
Very well done to him.
Yeah,
Yep,
proving
playing
his
well.
status, he's one of Australia's all-time greatest golfers.
Doing very well, Jason Day. Quickly, my moment of the week, Jonathan Patton starting to prove his worth as a number 1 draft pick, really coming of age now. He's kicked 11 goals in his last 2 weeks for GWS, and yeah, very, very impressive. But as we've come to air today, Fox Sports has reported that Justin Leppich has been...
It's actually confirmed.
It's confirmed now.
Yep.
Justin Leppich has been sacked as the Brisbane Lions coach after their poor performance this year and coming off a 58-point loss against St Kilda yesterday. It wasn't a good year for Brisbane at all. And is there really any surprise there, Joel?
Well, for me, actually, I kind of feel that Lep is a sacrificial lamb in all this, Val.
Yeah.
I don't think any coach could really save this playing group. They're an absolute rabble.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, that club needs a complete clear out.
I'll agree with you on that. They are an absolute rabble. They need. This is a Melbourne-esque rebuild. They need this, and the AFL needs to come in and stamp some authority. But I mean, they conceded 4 of this year's 6 highest scores, 6 of the top 15. They've conceded more than the league average every single week all season. They are badly coached as well.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to sack the coach based
Yeah.
on what they put up this season.
Exactly. But the question is now, who comes in to take this job? Because I don't think, would anybody want it?
I think Terry Wallace,
The list manager?
the list manager.
Talking about a Melbourne rebuild, what about Paul Roos?
Well, he wanted the Brisbane job back 4 years ago or 3 years ago when the Melbourne job
Far
became
better
available.
prospect 4 years ago than they are now.
Well, exactly, but really, I don't think he'll take up another rebuilding job. I don't think he's. Do you reckon he would?
Well, it depends if the price is right. The AFL
Yeah.
will be sinking serious money into
Yeah,
this.
they have to.
And they might make him an offer too good to refuse. It's a tough sell, Brisbane. Like, it's not a footy town. No one loves the team up there. They have an awful list. They seem to not be able to hang on to players.
Well, that's the culture.
The culture.
All the
is
players
no
that have
good.
left, Jared Pollock, Elliot Yeo, there's been so many others that have left, and then you've got guys like Mitch Robinson who are going up there.
Yeah,
doesn't really help.
exactly. It's But then the thing of the other side of the coin is they've got a pretty decent midfield. They've got stuff to work with, like Tom
Yeah.
Rockcliffe,
Pierce
Christensen,
Hanley.
Dane Horzorko, Pierce Hanley. They actually,
Dane Beams.
Dane Beams
Daniel
when
Rich
he
as
can
well.
get on. When they can get on the pass. So they actually there's some building blocks there to work
Yeah.
with. There's a good midfield.
And Shaki and Hipwood have been good up forward this year.
Shaki will be in.
Their
He'll be a
forward line
star.
does have a lot of promise in terms of building.
Oh
for the
yeah,
future.
exactly. But defense is where they lack. Like
Well,
Daniel
they've conceded
Merritt,
an
their
average
best.
of 126 points in their last 4 games.
Oh,
It's
good at all.
it's awful. It's horrible stuff. It's a horrible reading, and they need to. There just needs to be a complete clean out.
yeah, definitely. And well, I think it's going to be a watch this space over the next couple of months to see who will replace Lepage as coach of Brisbane and what the AFL will do. Will they get the priority pick? Who knows? They didn't get bottom spot this year, and I think if they had a finished bottom spot to the top upset Essendon, that would have just capped off a horrible year.
It's embarrassing enough. They only finished above them by like 0.6%.
Yeah.
But that's embarrassing enough.
Yeah, and nearly finished
that
below
Essendon side
them.
was meant to be the worst we'd ever seen.
Yep, and it clearly wasn't. I probably think
It's not
there's-
even the worst we saw this season.
Yeah, exactly. So very, very interesting. But continuing on with the AFL, the top 8 has been set. There was a little bit of trajectory there yesterday with maybe St Kilda winning by 250 points.
Trajectory?
I don't know.
Conjecture?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Tired today.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
St Kilda need to win 250
Yeah.
nil.
Yeah,
to
but
make
they
the
didn't,
finals.
They
unfortunately.
had
It
the
would've-
right team to play against.
Yeah, it was a good game actually. I didn't mind it, but the top 8 has been set. West Coast will play the Bulldogs in the first Thursday night final. What do you guys think about that Thursday night?
Better than Sunday.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's a 6:10 start in Perth.
Which is 8:10 here,
8:10
isn't it?
here.
Yeah.
If I were a fan based in Perth, I'd be pretty annoyed about that.
Yeah.
Pretty much, the AFL is basically saying all we care about is East Coast TV viewers. We don't,
What about a lot of people going to get up for work on Friday morning, probably thinking 8:10 start. That's a late finish as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's different, but I prefer it to the Sunday because the last 3 Sundays have been Richmond finals and they've all been disasters. So I don't want to look at that time slot anymore. But Geelong Hawthorn, probably the marquee match of that week on Friday night. Rudy, happy? And
No, it'll be a great game.
Yeah.
It's a marquee fixture, like you said.
Yeah.
But I don't think any Geelong fan is ever really excited about playing Hawthorn.
yeah, I agree with you there. It's going to be
It's going to be 10 days of just feeling sick
a
constantly.
lot of nerves there. Sydney GWS, Saturday afternoon, ANZ Stadium. They didn't want to play at ANZ. There was one exception, and if it was a Sydney derby in the finals, it'd be at ANZ. So hopefully there is a good crowd there, and I think there will be. GWS first final in history, and it's a Sydney derby final. So it's the battle of the bridge in the finals. I reckon this is going to be a good match.
Do we rate GWS a chance? What do you reckon,
Yeah.
Morgan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they've been a bit shaky, but I think they honestly have the star power. It'll be interesting to see how they go lacking experience in finals because, as we know, it's a different beast.
Yeah. But the good thing is, I think having Stevie J, Heath Shaw, and Callan Ward in that team as well. I think they
Shane Mumford.
Yeah,
too,
Mumford's a premiership player. So
yeah.
I've had the personal match of getting those young elite midfielders that they've been able to draft, mixing them with premiership proven players and all the people who are able to give them experience in finals. So I wouldn't tip them to beat Sydney, but I'd definitely give them an honest shot.
Yeah, and they beat Sydney last time they played. So
I think the interesting thing here is the fact that it's at a neutral ground.
Yeah,
too. There's no home. Actually, neither of the top two teams get to play a final on their own home ground.
Yes.
So it's Geelong aren't playing.
yeah,
at Kardinia
exactly.
Park
That's
and-
true. Yeah.
And Sydney aren't playing at the SCG.
Yeah. Well, even
the only,
GWS, it's
the
not
only
their home
team that's
ground.
playing in the top at
the
home
top
in the
four.
top four.
Hawthorn.
It's Hawthorn.
Of course,
Yes.
of course it is.
Classic.
But Geelong do play the G very well, so that helps.
I don't think Geelong
Yeah.
are
Not going to mind too
particularly.
much.
I don't think they're fearful of playing at the NCG.
Exactly. And the final match on Saturday night, Adelaide versus North Melbourne. But the bye this weekend, or next weekend, I should say, is something that's caused a lot of controversy in the AFL, by the AFL especially, but or by fans as well. And players, they don't like it, do they? And I don't like it either personally. But are you guys all on the same page with this? We'll start with you, Josh.
Well,
do you like this idea?
Apart from AFL officials, who does like it? Because I don't think I've ever seen anyone on Twitter say, I can't wait to have another week off AFL before I get to see the finals.
It's just, the excitement of Fremantle versus the Bulldogs yesterday just too much.
Yeah,
and now I've got to
exactly.
have a week off.
Yeah, exactly. But Luke Hodge, after yesterday's game, Hawthorn-Collingwood, had some really interesting comments about the bye, and this is what he had to say.
I don't know, it holds a bit of momentum, I think. Everyone's keen for finals. It might give us a bit of a rest just to regroup and have a look at what we've been doing wrong, because a lot of our games the last month hasn't quite been to what we've expected.
So Luke Hodge there, not too happy. Just quickly, if you're just tuning in, Justin Lepich has been sacked as the Brisbane coach, and there'll be more to follow over the next coming months with that story. But yeah, the bye, the players don't like it, and they wanted 2 byes in a season, but it sort of only gives 2 byes of the season, or during the season, to the top 8 teams. So the bottom teams are pretty much cancelled out there. So, and they just finish a week earlier.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
it's-
there's a week where they just give up any momentum.
Exactly. Well-
Like people's interest in footy wanes the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and then it comes back when the finals start.
Yeah.
Now they're just leaving a free hit for the NRL. I don't understand.
Well, this here, if you look at this, Geelong and Sydney both had 100-point wins on the weekend. And they would go, if the finals were next week, they'd go in red hot, good form. And whereas you look at Hawthorn, who had just got over the line against Collingwood, they'd be battle weary, they'd be sore, and they'd be coming, they'd have a bigger recovery than what Geelong and Sydney would have. But now they get that extra week to recuperate, to rest up, and they come out fit and firing against Geelong. And it could be bad for the Cats here.
I would say it's a complete shock to how the AFL's run that this is going to benefit Hawthorn the most out of any other team.
Yeah.
The thing that's this will end up punishing the teams that win the qualifying finals, because then they'll have played one game of footy in 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
that's
sort of tough.
You almost don't want to win.
Yeah, well, no, you definitely want to win.
yeah.
But you sort of have to balance that up. How much effect does it have for playing?
It does
exactly.
feel like a bit of a reset. For
It does.
Can I just say before we continue, I've just read a tweet. A journalist asked Greg Swan, the Brisbane CEO, what the player reaction was to Lepich being sacked. He said he doesn't know because they were told by email.
Oh my God.
Oh dear Lord.
Now that sums Brisbane up in a way, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
That's
That's
shocking.
that's a basket
Especially
case
when
right
Rockcliffe
there.
came out earlier this morning to say he feels like Lepich will be continuing on next year and he's in support of it. And now he probably found out by email that he was
jeez.
wrong.
Not good at all.
Do we see, speaking of Rockcliffe, do we see him moving teams next season?
I think if he moves
maybe he
teams,
needs to.
then you can almost just
Count
That'd be-
Brisbane out. I think he
I think
has
that'll be
to
opening
stay.
the floodgates for a bunch of other
Yeah.
players to leave as well.
He has to stay, yeah.
I don't see why he has to stay.
Just
Just follow him, I'd be gone.
Well, you'd try, but I think with Brisbane, they do need him up there. But quickly, yesterday's game, Hawthorn and Collingwood, that was unbelievable in so many ways. It's one of the best games of the season in the last home and away day of the season. And Jack Fitzpatrick kicking an unbelievable goal. But Alistair Clarkson, after the game, looked extremely relieved that Hawthorn booked the top 4 spot after almost not looking like it. Here's what he had to say after the game.
They scored four goals on the bounce and got a goal in front. Once again, the spirit of our group and resilience to just hang tough in the last 5 minutes of the game and find a way to win was really important for us.
Yeah, that was unbelievable by Alistair Clarkson, by Hawthorn, and yeah, he just looked relieved at the end of the game there, didn't he?
If they do it so often, I think it's extremely believable that Hawthorn got over the line.
Yeah, well, like yesterday, I think they equalled the record for most wins by under a goal in a home and away season of 5. So just remarkable how they've done that. But
I really can't tell with Hawthorn if they don't care at the moment, like they're just kind of getting over the line, or if they are genuinely.
I think they're genuinely unconvincing. I reckon. I'm calling it now. I don't see Hawthorn winning the flag. I know you can't rule them out, but I can't see them winning.
You can rule them out. I think
I'm ruling them out.
All right, there we go.
Can we please rule them out?
Okay, let's rule
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
Say with their finals experience, you can't rule Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'm actually not ruling them out. I can just see them just.
I could see them beating Geelong.
I reckon they've got some real issues. I mean, like Jack Fitzpatrick kicked that goal yesterday, but he's not going to be contributing come finals time. They can't run with Mark Pittenay in the ruck.
McAvoy will be
back. He's not very good. I think they'll lose the ruck most weeks. Their best key defender is Ben Stratton.
Yeah.
They have a really short back line. They looked really exposed in the air yesterday. Jesse White and Travis Cloke looked awesome.
Yeah.
And that's to reiterate, Jesse White and Travis Cloke.
Definitely.
And then they're sorely missing Roughhead up forward. They're going to go into the finals with James Sicily and Tim O'Brien, or
I don't know.
Burton fella. I don't think they've got enough in the key stocks and I just don't have enough tall players. Basically, I just can't see them doing much damage in this
a lot of
finals
weight
series.
on Bruce, Gunson, and Cyril in that.
It wouldn't shock me too much to see them go out in straight sets, depending on. I think Adelaide could. I don't know off the top of my head which.
No, it'd be West
works
Coast
up.
or Bulldogs.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think either of those teams can beat them in Melbourne.
But it's very interesting. I think we can talk more about that next week or coming closer to the finals. But quickly, Matthew Pavlich retiring, absolute legend of the game, 353 games, kicked his 700th goal yesterday. The crowd went nuts when he kicked that, and truly a great servant of the Fremantle Football Club. First Perth-based player to get to 300 games, which is with the 4-hour travel every 2 weeks, or twice every 2 weeks.
It's underrated how much of a toll that has on your
body.
Yeah,
and he's been a phenomenal servant.
I kept seeing a stat yesterday. He's travelled more in his career than most footy clubs in that time.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. He's a legend of the game and will forever be remembered as so. 6 best and fairest, 6 All-Australians, I think it was. So he's truly a legend of the AFL. Here's what he had to say after the game yesterday.
I've said plenty times before, I came here as a 17-year-old that had to mature and learn a lot along the way, and really the club and I have sort of grown up together. So, this year's been certainly challenging, but I leave with not one regret. I feel as though I've absolutely emptied the tank, and after today's result, it can springboard us into a strong pre-season.
Quickly, Justin Leppich was told over the phone that he was going to be sacked and did not go into the club today.
Just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, it really does. This is
a joke.
It really is. And also, All Australian squad was announced today. A couple of big omissions here. Zach Merritt, Patrick Cripps, and Nick Rewalt omitted from the 40-man
there as well.
And Matthew Prittis all omitted. And Morgan, as a St Kilda fan, but Nick Rewalt, that's a massive omission there.
I don't understand what more he has to do to get in there.
Well, Rudy was telling us off air, 20 disposals per game and
10 marks a game, 2 goals a game. What does he have to do?
Yeah, and for a player of 33, 34? I think he's 33. Yeah, 33. But yeah, it doesn't matter in our eyes. He's a legend anyway, and that's all that matters really. The final score, doesn't it?
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, but I mean,
he deserves more recognition than what he got this year.
To not make the 22, I can understand. To not get named in the initial 40-man squad.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Bit tough.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up quickly in that Fremantle game, Lachie Neale breaking the disposal record for the competition quite comfortably as well. It was by about 15 as well.
Deservedly in the All-Australian 40.
Yeah, did very, very well.
And Rudy's just giving me a dirty look there.
Did very, very well, Lachie Neale. And Freo, hopefully for them, they'd want to make a big run next season. But moving on to the Formula One, which was last night, Nico Rosberg winning the Belgium Grand Prix there, defeating Daniel Ricciardo, Ricciardo, coming in second there for Red Bull.
Ricardo?
How the Aussies or how everyone pretty much says it's really annoying. That it's like the I isn't even there. But Hamilton coming in third, Nico Hulkenberg for Force India in fourth, and Sergio Perez in fifth. Rosberg never really looked troubled in a chaotic race. He led from start to finish, but in the first turn, Sebastian Vettel hit Kimi Räikkönen, who then got knocked into Max Verstappen, caused a three-way crash there. Vettel nearly got hit by about 6 cars because he was left stranded on the road. It was an unbelievable first corner, and then Daniel Ricciardo ended up in, I think it started in 5th and it ended up in 2nd by the end of the first lap. So he had a really good start, got away from the carnage, and then also Kevin Magnussen of Renault. Driving up Eau Rouge, which is one of the most
sickening.
Oh, it really was. It was
accident.
one of the, for people that don't watch the F1, this is one of the most high-speed corners in Formula One. Coming up a hill, it's very, very windy. And Magnussen, I think his rear tyres, he did something. I think he must have taken his foot off the accelerator or done something with the steering wheel. But the car, he lost control of it and ended up hitting the tyre barriers at high speed. And the car just looked completely totaled. It was scary, wasn't it?
As big as that crash was, it still wasn't the biggest talking point for me. For me, that was Lewis Hamilton going from 21st to 3rd. He climbed 18 spots in that
how
race.
lucky did he get last night?
He got lucky in terms of cars crashing out, and how brilliant was his passing? I mean, we know his car's phenomenal, but he was supreme.
It's sort of reminding me of what Sebastian Vettel, or the luck Sebastian Vettel got during his four world championships. Yeah. It's sort of, if you're Rosberg, you're just looking at Hamilton on the podium and just saying, how the hell did you end up on here when you started second last? And I think he would have been disappointed, but he still gained some points on Hamilton. But Max Verstappen last night, he do you reckon Joel and Josh, because I know you guys watched the race, was he a little bit arrogant in, when he cut Kimi Räikkönen off a couple of times and was sort of a bit too aggressive? And
I don't think he had aggressiveness. I could say there's probably a bit of an ego complex with him, but we saw how well he went in qualifying, and maybe just went in with the wrong mindset coming into the race.
Interesting there, but
everyone's been talking him up in the press as well.
Yeah,
I think I think he might have been feeling the effect of the sort of the home crowd away from home, if you like. There was a lot of orange in that crowd, clearly all supporting Max.
But I definitely agree there with you. But Daniel Ricciardo coming in second, he was really pleased with his race. Here's what he had to say afterwards.
We picked up some damage actually from all the debris, I think, from the Ferraris and Max. So the front wing was damaged, and up until the red flag, I was struggling. And I asked the team if they could see anything when I was, driving by, if they could see any damage, and because I felt the car wasn't behaving normal. But then the red flag allowed us to repair that.
So after getting a little bit damaged early on, he ended up finishing in second. He sits third in the World Championship, 151 points behind Hamilton in first on 232, and Rosberg second on 223. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads on 455 and Red Bull 274. Just really, really quickly, before we move on to the EPL, Daniel Ricciardo and Mark Webber on the podium. The shoey, that was hilarious.
That was grouse.
Yeah, that was grouse, definitely. Yeah. As to put it in the most Aussie way possible.
Grouse is a good word to use.
Yeah.
Just on the Constructors' Championship, do you say that Mercedes are leading by 180 points?
Yep.
Yeah. So why do they even bother having it?
I don't know.
What's the point?
You get money.
To give Mercedes another little
you get
trophy
money
for their trophy room.
Yeah. So whoever wins
how soon
gets
can
more.
they actually win it though?
Oh, very. Within the next few races.
How many more races are there to go? So
there's a few. There's about, maybe 9.
So they're going to knock this off with 6 races left in the season or something.
Yeah, very soon. So Mercedes absolutely dominating F1.
Yeah.
But the EPL during the week, it was over the weekend. It was a pretty interesting. Well, a few things happened, but Leicester probably the main story, winning their first game in their championship defence, and they defeated Swansea 2-1. Jamie Vardy scoring his first goal of was his first goal of the season or second?
Yeah, first goal.
So
it was Leicester's first goal of the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Actually, they didn't score. No, they scored.
No, they didn't score again. Oh, yeah.
They
My
scored in their
apologies.
first week.
Riyad Mahrez scored against Hull.
Yeah.
Right.
So absolutely, they'd be wrapped to get that first win under the belt now and get their title defence back on track. But Claudio Ranieri was very, very happy after the match, and here's what he had to say.
Yes, we play very well. I think all the matches, just when we miss a penalty, after the opponent take more confidence, and after they score a goal, and then of course at the last minute you have to fight, but it's okay. It's okay. The more important thing was the 3 points.
I love Claudio Ranieri. I've just got to say, he's a legend. Dilly ding, dilly dong, we're in the Champions League. That's probably by far one of the best lines an EPL manager has said over the past 10 years. But Man United, Man City, Chelsea, all firing at the moment, all undefeated. They've got off to the perfect start, haven't they, Rudy?
Man United look brilliant. They look like Man United again. It's been a few years, pretty much since Ferguson left, but they're just so strong now.
They are.
And there's just this air of the whole Premier League feels back. In a way, it's been a few years without. So it's sort of been like the second or third tier comp, really. For the last
It
few
seems
years,
back
but
to
now,
normal, doesn't it?
They've got Mourinho there, they've got Pep Guardiola, and then they've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic, they've got
and
Paul
Pogba.
and then obviously you've got other world class players. That you still Sergio Aguero's there.
Yeah.
It's shaping up to be actually quite a high standard season. It's been interesting Premier League seasons, but not high standard.
Yeah,
I feel. But
and this one is high standard though.
United look good. I reckon they're a real. I'd be real scared of them if I was the other teams.
Yeah, Clayton had a pretty off game. And how good was Rashford's goal? Comes in second minute stoppage time.
That's amazing.
He'll be something, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's such a United story, isn't it? Such a United thing to do.
Yeah, 92nd minute.
Well, I think 96th goal would have been a bit more United.
96 out of 4 minutes of injury time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was amazing. And and they look unbeatable at the moment, don't they?
I mean, 3 matches in.
Yeah,
but
for the first 3 matches.
They look a class above most of the
Yeah,
other
they
sides,
definitely do.
They look like a proper Jose Mourinho team.
They do, yeah. Yeah, real tight at the back.
Yeah, tight at the back.
They seem to be enjoying things again, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like with under Van Gaal and Moyes, they didn't seem to be enjoying what they were doing, and now I think they are.
What do you make of the rest of the comp? Like, who's challenging? I mean, it seems like
Manchester
their favourites.
City.
Manchester City.
Yeah, probably. It's going to be.
I want to say Everton, but I feel a little bit hopeful saying that.
Do you think with City they sort of rely too much on Sergio Aguero?
Yes, without a doubt.
The way he gets injured, you can pretty much rule him out for 6 or 7 games of this every single season. Does that hurt them too much?
Well, I think their record with him and without him last season, because I'm trying to remember, I think out of games Aguero was out, they only won 3 out of like 8 or 9 or something. They do rely on him way too much. They've got a phenomenal midfield.
Yeah, but Guardiola now, though.
That'll be a key for them, seeing how especially, they've got Iheanacho as well.
What about Arsenal? I know you're an Arsenal fan, Morgan. What do you
rate
reckon?
Arsenal.
You rate them as a chance to
yeah, I think so.
make a fist of the comp.
Yeah, they've not started fantastically, but the
other night when they won,
game, that was really good.
Yeah, they were beating. I think who did they knock off? They defeated Watford.
The game was over at half time.
The big North London derby.
So
I'm going to go on a limb and think Arsenal finish 4th.
Well, they'll get Champions League anyway, and that's. I know they want to win.
They missed a striker.
Yeah,
really, they really missed a striker.
I think they missed a striker
I like
for about 3 years.
I like that Granit Xhaka bloke that they signed.
Xhaka's
They really needed that player, but they need.
They're signing Lucas Perez from Deportivo La Coruña. He should be there any minute.
Interesting.
Fantastic
There we go.
pronunciation there, Joel.
Very good, Joel. But quickly, we've got to move on to the cricket. There was a one-day international last night. Australia knocking off Sri Lanka by 2 wickets. Man of the match, George Bailey. I think he's one of the guys that's universally liked in the Australian cricket team. Yeah. And 70 off 99 balls, Rudy. It was a good innings.
They literally carried him through an Ashes series because he's a good bloke.
Yeah, pretty much.
That one that they won 5-0.
The unchangeables.
He contributed nothing, but great
He
bloke
made
in the
150.
change rooms.
Yeah, 150.
I smeared was it Jimmy Anderson all over the joint at the
that was one of the best overs I've ever seen.
But great win for the Aussies. They'd looked clueless in the match before that. They got done by 80 odd.
Yeah,
looked clueless against spin, and then made a few changes. And they just look. I'm not sure why John Hastings wasn't in the team already. He's clearly he's a good limited overs. Yeah, he's a good limited overs bowler, and he's really good for those kind of decks where you just get out what you put in, basically. And then Australia A won their game pretty comfortably the other night. Yeah. Maxwell making runs. Yeah. Why is he not in the one-day side?
I don't know.
Why would you ever pick a one-day
Morgan,
side?
Best one-day player at the Allan Border medal. It doesn't get into the squad. What's the logic behind that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I've not rated the selections for a very long time, though. So
if you had a team, if you were picking a team and you had a choice between Moises Henriques and Glenn Maxwell for the all-rounder spot, why would you ever go for Henriques?
Yeah, you go for Maxwell any day of the week because he throws up a lot more. So,
well, you take out Chandimal's effort from that game. Sri Lanka were quite disappointing with the bat as well.
Yeah. Well, quickly, Tilakaratne Dilshan playing his last international or one-day match. So good on him. He's had a phenomenal career. Australia leads that series 2-1. So there's 2 matches to go. So it'll be interesting to see if they can win. Hopefully they can. Quickly, before we go, Bledisloe Cup, New Zealand belted Australia again, win their 14th Bledisloe Cup in a row winning 29-9 in Wellington.
There's a reason it's the end of the show is because it's not really that much
It's just
news.
yeah.
Not
The All Blacks
Yeah.
won. Well,
Yeah.
so
We
must
can
be,
just
must
we
be
can just
Monday.
accept
Yeah.
we lose.
Well, it's really not good for Australian rugby. So we might have to get Simon
Just
again.
before
to
we
talk.
go, a story's come up in the WA media. A club, a footy club, a local footy club in Rockingham in WA. A man's been pictured dressed in a Ku Klux Klan hood at a local footy match.
Oh,
so expect to
jeez.
hear a little bit more about
Yep,
that.
definitely. But before we go, just quickly, Justin Leppich has been sacked by the Brisbane Football Club, and who's to know what's going to happen with them over the next coming months? It's going to be one of the more interesting stories after the finals finish. So Brisbane Lions. Yeah, hopefully they can get back on track because AFL needs something in Queensland, and it's going to.
Gold Coast aren't providing it.
Yeah, and they're really not. But everyone, thank you for coming on the show. Joel, Rudy, Morgan, thank you for coming on today. It's been great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries at all. And Josh Campbell.
Thanks, Val.
No worries at all. This is the final score, and we'll see you back here next week, upstart.net.au, 1 p.m. I'm Val Febo. Hope everybody has a lovely day and a lovely week.
But it's Murray's time in the sunshine of centre court once again.
He's got it! The Tigers